Welcome to Book Huddle. I'm your host, Karen Reeder, and I am so excited to be bringing on Risa Cohen. She is the owner of this business, Seeing Into Reading, and I just love the name. Initially, like all you have to do is see that there, Seeing Into Reading. How perfect. I know teaching preschool, I know that music and singing is a wonderful way for teaching children to read. So, Risa, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your backstory, what you did before the business, and how it led to it, and then we'll get talking about Seeing Into Reading.
Okay, so I'm Risa Cohen. I'm the founder and creative director of Sing Into Reading, where you can teach your child to read with music and love. And I started as an actor. I got a BFA in acting from Tisch School of the Arts at NYU. And I just kind of fell into teaching, never planned on it. Uh, and I just got a day job while I was acting at an indoor playground because I knew I loved kids.
Right.
And I saw it as a performance space. So I started doing sing-alongs and puppet shows and storytime drama. And I thought of them as shows, and they were really classes.
Awesome.
And yeah, and I developed a following there, and people started coming regularly to all the Risa shows. And one day after one of my sing-alongs, a nanny who came with her twins all the time
Mhm.
came up to me after and told me that she teaches art at this school, this enrichment center in New York City, Rhythm and Blues, and that they were looking for a music teacher and that I should apply. And
Nice.
I thought, but I'm not a teacher and I'm not a musician.
Right.
And she said, no, you are a teacher and you are a musician. And
Yes. Sometimes you have to be told by somebody else, right? They see it
right,
even when we don't.
for sure. And so I started teaching there and I loved it. I loved it so much that the next time I went on tour, um, I really missed teaching and decided that's what I really want to focus on. So I went to graduate school, got and earned a Master's of Science in Early Childhood Elementary Education
Nice.
from Bank Street College and taught lots and lots of places. Ended up teaching in a New York City public school, taught a K-1 loop,
Nice.
and I started teaching at this special time where they were rolling out a new curriculum, a
Okay.
new literacy curriculum. So I was able to get a lot of training in it at Teachers College at Columbia University at the Reading Writing Project.
Hmm.
And I went to calendar days and conferences and served on leadership groups there.
Right.
And my classroom became a lab site for writing workshops. So people would come observe and uh, people would ask all the time, how do you get your kindergartners to read and write so well? And it was while I was teaching a K-1 loop, I noticed the connection between music and movement and literacy skills. And I
Wonderful.
would tell them, we sing and dance every day.
Nice. I
There's
love
more
it.
to it, but
Yes. Yes.
it's a
Of course.
huge component of it. So many of the music and movement skills translate directly to literacy skills, and this has been
Yes.
backed up by um, research studies and articles.
Oh, absolutely. And I've seen it already in teaching my own children and then at the preschool now, for one like rhythm, which I'm not musical and rhythm actually is difficult for me, but yeah, I can keep a very basic beat, and I know that that's important, and then probably very important for speech pathologists is them being able to keep that beat of, so I don't have the stutter, and then also like the rhyming that they have, that helps really build on abilities to read. Those are the two I can think of. What else? Can you share a couple others with us?
Oh, there's so many. I mean,
Right.
I'll start with music. In music, like you said, noticing patterns of words because we have
Yes.
to learn sounds before symbols.
Yes.
We play with sound before we can start writing it. So we need
Yes.
to talk and listen. And music piques the interest of the listener. So they notice the language patterns better. You mentioned rhyming songs are a great tool, but
Yes.
you can also learn any language patterns in song. You can learn vocabulary, you can hear alliteration and assonance and consonants and all of those, delicious language
Right.
patterns that we use. Um, and uh, music is very rhythmic. You can hear the rhythm of the words as well. You mentioned the beat. There's the beat and there's the rhythm. The beat is
Yes.
steady. Each sound has the same length. The rhythm is following the language so that
Lovely.
some sounds are longer or shorter than others. Um, and in movement, there are a lot of skills that translate directly to literacy. For example, I do a lot of finger plays that help teach finger isolation and
Yes.
motor skills that translate to hand
Yes, I
movement.
saw that on your paper about fine motor skills. Yes.
I do a lot of um, uh, finger plays that help teach a pincer grip or that help teach a tripod grasp, which is necessary
Preparation for the pencil. Yes. Wonderful.
and preparing the hand. I
Nice.
also do a lot of gross motor work that crosses the midline, which is necessary for reading. When you're reading, you're connecting the left and right hemispheres of the
Yes.
brain. They need to be able to communicate with each other, and crossing the
Wonderful.
midline helps train the left and right hemisphere to communicate together and work together on a task. Also, when you're reading or writing across a page, we start on the left in English and move to the right of the page. I
Right.
mean, I have to go this way for it to work for you, but
I know.
and
I gotcha. I gotcha.
when we cross that midline, that's where a lot of kids have trouble if they're not facile with crossing the midline.
Oh,
So
wow.
doing this gross motor work of crossing the midline relates directly. I also do gross motor work that helps strengthen the shoulder girdle, which is important for handwriting. Um,
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, like sometimes my arm does get tired or like the elbow and yeah, I can see the
Well, it's
shoulder
you need support of the shoulder girdle, right? Like
to
you'll
be
see the
able
kids who are
to,
dropped on their desk writing.
right,
um,
right.
they need shoulder girdle stability training.
Oh wow. Yeah, so many wonderful things. So I see this being very important for the pre-K and developing it and getting ready. So what about, do you use these same skills once they're later in elementary, like a fourth or fifth grader? Because like maybe they've been lane or what, how would you incorporate some of this into the upper elementary?
Right. So to be fair, my students tend to fall into a couple of categories. I uh, I work with students of all ages and abilities,
Okay.
but the bulk of my students are um, babies, toddlers, pre-K, early elementary, and
Okay.
kindergarten, and teens and adults with special educational needs.
Right.
But all of my students are music lovers.
Yes.
And as far as your question about upper elementary students,
Right.
I don't have any currently,
Uh-huh.
but I have worked with some in the past. And when I've worked with upper elementary students in the past, we work on songwriting.
Great.
We work on a lot of reading comprehension, sometimes using songs as our text.
Oh, great.
And in all of my students, I often use zipper songs, which are songs where just a key word or phrase changes each time.
Okay.
And you can take suggestions from the students and zip them into the song. Like Old MacDonald is a zipper song. I can ask you what animal is on the farm, and I'll zip that into the song. And the
Okay.
rest of the words remain the same.
Hmm.
It's just that one tiny chunk to work on reading or writing.
Okay.
And chunking it into a tiny piece that's different sort of scaffolds the experience for a lot of those students who are struggling because it's more doable, um,
Excellent.
achievable. It's a more achievable goal.
Excellent. So now, are you in the classroom now, or are you more the independent consultant for
So I'm
parents?
so I since the pandemic, I've been running this business, singintoreading.com.
Okay,
And I do online classes and I
great,
present at conferences and I present at schools and museums. Also, I want to mention that thanks to a grant,
great.
a Teach Arts Ohio grant from the Ohio Arts Council,
Yes,
I'm fulfilling a 100-day teaching artist residency at Westside Montessori. So,
wonderful.
yeah, so I'm there 3 days a week
Great.
with their Little House and their Children's House. The Little House students are 13 months through 3 years old, and the Children's House students are 3 to 6 years old.
Wonderful. Oh, wonderful experiences. So tell me what a lesson might look like when you go in. Let's pick the 3 to 6 year olds. Tell me what you might be doing with them when you go in to
So
work on literacy through music.
sure. So in this teaching artist residency, when I go into the 3 to 6 year old classroom, we start with a music circle that's a whole group lesson.
Yep.
And then I work with students about 4 at a time in small groups,
Yep.
do more focused lessons. So um, I'll give you the example I'm doing this particular week.
Okay.
Uh, but this particular week, in Music Circle, we're singing a lot of songs of peace, love, and justice because Martin Luther King Day is this
Great.
Monday. And we use our peace fingers. We move them in a circle. Um, we uh, use the vertical line that's in the, anyway, we'll
Great.
do a lot of movement.
Wonderful.
And then in small groups this week, I've been doing a review because this happens to be our first week back from
Oh,
winter break.
great. Great.
Before the break, we had learned pitch high and low, tempo fast and slow, and today we added dynamics loud and soft.
Wonderful. Okay, so and now you're also available for hire. So is it like one-on-one over Zoom kind of thing usually that you do with
It's
parents?
one-on-one over Zoom, yes.
Okay, excellent. And
Some
so,
of my students meet with me independently.
okay,
Some students meet with me with a para or with an aide or with a parent, depending
okay,
on their level of independence.
okay, excellent. So, and then you do similar things. You'd use music to work on the desired skill.
Mhm. Yeah, and I do different things with different people. You know, I'm not a cookie cutter kind of teacher. Every single lesson is
Tailor
shaped.
made. Yeah,
So I have one student that's working on ukulele with me and learning the ukulele, and which is great for teaching fine motor skills.
lovely.
Um, uh, it depends on the student.
And then, yeah, their needs and where they specifically want to grow, right? And you have as well, you've got an album that you're working on. And part of that, the first step is the single that's coming out on your birthday, right? The 22nd, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, and at like 122 even got it down to 122 at
122,
122.
122. Yes,
Yes. All right.
122, 122.
So fun. So tell us about the first song because it'll be, am I right that it's a solo song that will be part of the album that's later coming out with more songs on it?
Yes.
Okay.
So
So tell us
I
more.
I am the recipient of the Artist Opportunities Grant from the Ohio Arts Council,
Okay.
and I received this grant in order to pay an audio engineer to professionally record and master and produce some of my original songs. I've been writing stories and songs forever, since I could talk.
Yes.
Um, yeah, right? And I feel like I don't even write them. They just come. They
Yes.
just come through me. Um, and I've never had any professionally recorded.
Okay.
So I'm so thankful to the Ohio Arts Council to be able to afford this special opportunity to record them. And
Wonderful.
the whole album is going to be called Oh Friends, We Love You. That's the title track of the album. It's another original song, and that'll be out this summer. But there's one single that's
Uh-huh.
coming out, my debut single,
Yay.
122, 122. I can't wait till this summer to put this single out because I want people to have time to learn it before Valentine's Day.
Yay. What's the title?
It's I Love You, Yes I Do.
So
And
cute.
it's a song that will help your child feel loved and learn parts of the body
Nice.
and emotions to go with it too.
So, and then the album overall will be for parents or teachers to use in with their children,
Yes, and I envision eventually, because I often use these songs in my curriculum, most of them
right?
were born out of teaching.
Yes.
Uh, and I envision some kind of curriculum work that will incorporate these songs, but releasing
Nice.
the album is a really big step for me.
Big step. Yes. Well, and you've got so many places that you're working. Man, yeah, you've got a balance a lot. That's amazing, all this different work that you're doing. And one of the things that you said was that you've had ideas ever since you've been young, writing music and also stories. So you're a pre-published author. This is some things in the work. Tell us about the writings that you've been doing for children's stories.
I've been telling stories pretty much forever and worked as a storyteller many places. I still often present, do storytelling workshops at schools and museums and places. I did a storytelling residency, and I I started writing stories, writing picture book manuscripts when I went to graduate school in
Right.
2001. I took a children's literature class with Dick Feldman, and that is where and when I wrote my very first children's book manuscript.
Fun.
And I've been writing manuscripts ever since. And I've written scores and scores of manuscripts. My stories tend to be, oh, I write lots of different kinds. I write some songs that are also stories intended
Nice.
to be read as a shared reading text. I also write some nonfiction
Okay.
children's
Cool.
books. I
Excellent.
write a lot of realistic fiction
Okay.
and some memoiristic autobiographical work. Um, what else? I have, yeah, I think that about covers my work. I tend to write realistic fiction. I'm not one, I love fantasy. I love all
Yes.
genres, but I
Yeah.
tend to write realistic fiction.
Oh, so fun. So fun. I love what I do with recommending books for adults to share with the kids in their life. Like, this is a fun thing for me to go and just read books. But it's making me think, it just seems like everything you're doing just sounds like stuff that brings you so much joy, like the music and the writing and the books. So, is that what you do when you need to decompress, or what else would you do when it's like, I need a break? Because you're doing this for work as well. So, what's the stress release activities that you would do?
I meditate every single day.
Wonderful. I love meditation. I know so much of the benefits and I do it sometimes and I'll do it for a few days and I'm like, I'm so much better when I meditate. And then it's so hard to make myself take the time.
Yeah, that's really my big release. I meditate every
Wonderful.
single day, but I mean, you're right. I'm really fortunate. Some people work for a living. I play.
That's what it sounds like. I think you're just living the dream with music and reading and writing. It just sounds wonderful.
It's fun. I would do it for free, and I do.
Lovely. I love
Oh,
it.
we all need money too, right?
That is. Needs something to put a roof over the head and food on the table and take care of those kids. Do your kids enjoy that that's what you do? You have some teenage boys. Do they enjoy that this is the work that mom
Oh,
does?
no, not at
Do they roll
all.
their eyes when you're singing around the kitchen or
Yeah, my
something?
boys are 14, my boys are 15 and 17, and
Uh-huh.
you know, I love children's books and children's music. Like,
Yes.
genuinely love these genres. My favorite genre of books is children's books. My favorite genre of music is children's music. Genuinely. And my Pandora's always set, or now it's not Pandora, it's Spotify.
Yeah.
I love hearing those songs.
Yes.
Mm, It's not what my teens are into.
They're like, Mom, why are you listening to this? Can we change it?
That's not what my teens are into. They make fun of me all the time. They tell me I'm five.
But I
Mom,
bet they sure had
five.
fun with it when they were 5.
They say, Mom, you're five.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I know.
But it's a lot of fun to be 5, guys. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, we have a running joke in our house. Whenever I embarrass them too much by being my silly self, I'll tell
Yes.
them because they made it up. My oldest started saying, you're five. So now
Uh-huh.
I put it back at him. And when he gets embarrassed, I say, I'm five.
Can you do?
Five.
Well, I love it. I think it is just so much fun, especially like I teach preschool and this is what they love. They love the music, they love the movement. And so if they can learn while they're doing that, how wonderful. I think overall the importance for the child of why it is so effective to use music and movement to teach is they're having a good time. And if the child is enjoying themselves, they're so much more likely to learn and advance and want to keep doing it, right? Like with reading, you've got to find what you love to read if you're going to keep reading. And so when they love doing this and learning through music, I just, that's the reason I feel above all for the success.
I agree. I've been called a literacy teacher in disguise.
This
My
guy, yes.
Yeah, my students, they think we just make music and have fun,
Right.
and we do.
That's so
And
wonderful.
I also use a whole child approach, and I value SEL, social emotional learning.
Yes.
A lot of that runs through everything I do. So
Wonderful. Well, it sounds like you just have so many skills putting it all to use. That's amazing. I love it. Those schools are lucky to have you.
thank you.
So, Risa, I love to ask everybody at the end a favorite children's book. Can be for any age. What's a favorite of yours?
I do one for preschoolers, one for early elementary,
Okay.
and one for parents,
Okay. Wonderful.
right?
Sounds good.
So this is my pick for
Oh,
preschoolers.
I love that one.
Go Away Big Green Monster. I've been reading it forever since I found this book when I was at Play Space, that indoor
Yes.
playground. And it's illustrated all with die cuts by Ed Emberley, the author and the illustrator. Starts Big Green Monster has two big yellow eyes, and with die cuts, the face appears until you don't scare me, so go away. And the child has the autonomy to make the hair go away. Go away, scraggly purple hair. And it's gone and it disappears, and it ends with don't come back until I say so, which
Nice.
is wonderful. It's not didactic. It's not you have control over your scary monsters. I
Yes.
mean, that's what it is,
It's
but it's
empowering.
told through a fun story. It's
Yes.
silly. It's funny. I love
I
it.
love it. I love it.
Um, all right, this one is uh, for older children. This is Evermore Dragon
Oh, I haven't
by
heard of that one.
Deuce and illustrated by Randy Cecil.
Okay.
And it is the dragon is a friend who is playing hide and seek with this little girl. And it's told with this beautiful language that reminds me of the Jabberwocky, super fun.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
and the illustrations by Randy Cecil are just fantastical and silly and whimsy, just full of whimsy
Lovely.
and fun, super fun. And they play hide and seek. And of course, the scariest part of hide and seek is when you hide and
Mm-hmm.
no one finds you.
Hmm.
And of course there's a very happy ending and they're very
Yeah.
good friends. And full transparency, Randy Cecil, the artist, is a friend of mine and dedicated it to my two kids and
Oh, yay.
another friend of
So
ours. And
fun.
it's a great book, highly recommended.
Wonderful.
This one is for adults. You'll see mine is tattered and torn. Mem Fox is one of my favorite authors in the world. One year when I was teaching first grade, we did an author study of her. I love everything she ever did. But Harry, You'll Drive Me Wild
Mm-hmm.
is just such a favorite. Um, it's about how Harriet keeps knocking over things just like that, and how we get angry just like
Yes.
that, and how a little humor can go a long way.
Wonderful. Oh, I love that. So fun. Thank you so much, Risa. Like I said, I love the work that you're doing. I love seeing and reading. What a
Thank you
beautiful,
for
wonderful
having
thing.
me. Thank you. I
Yes.
appreciate it.
Thank you. And in the description below, you'll be able to find how to reach Risa. We'll make sure to have all of her socials or how you could reach out and hire her to work with your child or yourself and wonderful things to do. All right.
Thanks.
Bye.